Bradley, Maddox Gallery tonight. How does this feel?
It feels wonderful. You know, when you're doing an art show or an art exhibit, the most important thing is the people, you know, and having people here and being able to bounce their feelings onto you and understand what they like about your work and what their general consensus is helps you as an artist grow. You know, to have an empty room with one person, it feels like nothing. So I'm happy that people came from far and wide to come and take the time to view my artwork.
So we can see an explosion of colors here. Can you tell us more about your work?
I think what my work is mainly about the expression of the human inner energy. You know, one of the things that just happened was I think science has just developed a magnetic field and blew up all their equipment, but the whole concept of a magnetic field comes from a magnetic energy, an explosion, and I do it through color. So I have a magnetic field of color.
So it's like you're bringing up the dark side in colors.
Well, I think that one of the things that we struggle with as human beings is that our yin and yang, our light and our dark, you know? And sometimes the dark is not necessarily the dark, and sometimes the light is not necessarily the light. I mean, we look at today's politics where positions of power that was the light now seems like the dark, and positions of politics that were the dark now seems like the light. So I think that we should all keep an open mind to what is the light and the dark. I mean, we're all yin and yang. We're light and dark individuals. There's no person that can say he's perfect. There's no person that say they don't have a bad thought, or no person that say they don't have a good thought, you know? And so my work is not focused on what's right or what's wrong, what's light or what's dark. It's what's within.
So I stalked you a bit on Instagram. Let me be honest. You said painting beauty in an ugly world. What do you mean exactly?
Well, the fact is that I do consider myself painting beauty in an ugly world. The world is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that people aren't. The problem with today's individuals, they're not admitting the world is very complex. You know, you have people trying to process the concept of today with the mind of yesterday. And, you know, we have like what we call mental health. You know, the fact is that people are mentally ill. But are they mentally ill? Or is the world ill and their minds are not able to process living in the world? You know, the fact is, you know, there are times when you want to escape from this world because the situation is not normal. You know, I mean, you're taxed. I don't get into politics, but I'll say this. A lot of contradictions in society today. You know, people aren't able to have a normal wage. There are homelessness, where there should be homelessness. There are people that sacrifice themselves for the corporation, and the corporation discards them like toilet paper. I mean, how can you not feel mentally ill in today's world?
Yeah, true. So do you feel like colors can express actually the reality of our society?
I think colors express the reality of our inner being. But if you really think about it, if you have wild animals that are loose in a city, where do you find them? In a park. Because animals have an internal nature to hide from the world. But if you see humans in our society, where do you find them? In the middle of concrete jungles. You know? We're actually rebuilding the park, but something that's so grotesque that it's all black and white. And there are some creatives that are trying to break this mold, you know, and create this colorful world that is similar to the forest or a jungle, you know. But the reality of it is that there's a small group of people that are trying to do this.
Shall we all break these walls? What do you think?
I think we should, you know. I think one of the things that people come up to me and say I inspired them to paint, and I think everyone should paint. Because when you take the time out to paint, you're taking the time out to get in touch with your inner soul. And look around, you know. Why do people use drugs? To escape. You know, we need to really understand that what's going on today in the external world is absolutely not right.
So, what you have behind your back reminds me of The Last Dinner by Jesus Christ, actually. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
This is actually a painting that I grew up sketching from Da Vinci and Michelangelo sketchbooks as a kid, just copying it. And so it's always been ingrained on me that this is what art was, you know. And as you grow up, you get Impressionist art, you get, you know, from Picasso, Dali, Surrealism, and then you go today where, like, you know, it becomes something of a little bit of a manufactured machine. If you're an artist and you're selling paintings for $10 million, but then you have 200 employees, plus you have to pay taxes, by the end of the day, you're negative $6 million. So what do you got to do? You got to create more artwork. You're in a machine, you know? And what I really miss is the true reality of, you know, the true loyal part of painting your own painting, touching with your own paint, making your own paint, making these things that are just special and unique. The Last Supper for me represents something that as a kid I strive to be as a real artist. I'm not saying a real artist, but as a kid you want to be what you call a real artist. You're an artist that looks at your forefathers and say, I want to be there.
Legitimately artist.
Yeah, I think a legitimate artist, not being a legitimate artist in the world of auctions or the world of fairs, the world of people buying art. You're a legitimate artist if you're an artist in the world of the people's heart.